So we have our own rapid fire questionnaire. Who is your all-time number one favorite cartoon character?
Yakko Warner.
No,
That was quick.
I've thought about it a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good one. And it makes a lot of sense too. Okay. Your number one ever favorite cartoon? Animaniacs. Yeah.
Do I get bonus points for answering quickly?
Yeah. Yes, you do. You do. What is your favorite thing to draw?
What did... I think it's pinup girls. Like 1940s pinup girls with like floofy hair and fashion stuff.
Cool.
Okay.
I think that's my favorite. Yeah.
Do you have a least favorite thing to draw?
Vehicles.
Transformers.
Optimus Prime.
Yeah. I'm there with you. I'm with you on that too. Yeah. Yeah, there's just something about drawing things that are organic. It's just more enjoyable.
Yeah, well, you can't get with a vehicle. You can. There's prop designers who are very talented and they can get energy in the design. But every time I try to draw a car, I'm just like, it's just a brick. I can't bend it. I can't, I guess I could, but I'm just not, that's not a path I've not worked on it yet. I have to work on it. I should be able to cartoon anything.
Yeah, and one of the things that impresses me probably more than anything is when you see a good cartoon vehicle.
Yeah,
I will.
Well, that's what Hanna-Barbera was very good at. They were very.
There you go.
I will say, mid-century artists can cartoon the hell out of a vehicle. In Golden books, if you look at old J.P. Miller and Mel Crawford, you can peer in the backgrounds, and you'll be like, "Look at that fire truck! Like it is that ice cream truck! Like they're so good." Yeah, I could really, because I know I can't do it, so I'm like, that's amazing.
I just like that they're able to simplify all the complicated mechanics of it in a way that's incredibly. It reads, but it still feels authentic to what that vehicle is.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's the good shape, like exaggerations of those shapes that are just really tasty. Yeah. Okay. Do you have a favorite 9 old man? One of the 9 old men. That really sounds weird to say. Do you have a favorite?
Or Disney artists.
Favorite Disney artist, but one of the 9 old men. If you had to pick one.
Ward Kimball.
Is it? That's a good one.
It's a toss-up between him and Freddie Moore. But Ward is just I love everything. He's so funny.
That's an example, right? Someone who draws funny.
He draws like anytime I see Pecos Bill's stupid goofy grin, I'm just happy. Just love it.
Yeah. I think that's most excellent choice, and interesting when you juxtapose it with Fred Moore, who drew cute.
He drew
pinup girls too.
And
I love Freddie Moore pinup girls. And they are weirdly proportioned for pinup girls. They have super long torsos and short legs, but it works because he makes the energy of the poses so dynamic. That and just like the cute button eyes and like they always have like a bow that's kind of floppy like this. I love it. Like I love the Centaurette so much.
The Centaurette,
they're so cute. Oh, but yeah. People often use Disney as like a catch-all term. Oh, so sweet, super sweet Disney. I'm like, but we forget how funny Disney animation could be. Like, especially from the wacky 40s. I love that era for animation, Warner Brothers and Disney.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think to say Disney and not understand the nuances, but again, maybe it's just a general population. Like the nuances between the different, we use the 9 old men, there's so many more people than that. But like if you just looked at that group, and the nuances between each of them and super hyper focusing on who did what character and in what movie. And and what are and finding out the ones that I love the most, the scenes that I love the most, and I just go, of course, like of course they did it. My favorite scene in Lady and the Tramp is literally just Jacques and Trusty when Trusty has the memory moment. That is my favorite scene in Lady and the Tramp, and I love Lady and the Tramp. But there's just something so human in that moment, that I just. Yeah, so that's the kind of thing, like saying like, oh, you notice these little things about like the art, like who's your favorite? Well, again, it makes sense that, he draws funny. Ward Kimball draws funny.
And I still love everything. I love Mark Davis a whole lot too. And just, of course, like the Frank and Ollie but it's just like, I'm drawn to the silly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. Okay. So, do you have a dream project?
Like my own project or something
something that you could imagine, like, oh, if I could do anything and money wasn't a problem. Is there anything?
Yeah, back to the druthers thing. If you really, really had your druthers.
I have a plan.
Hey.
It has several stages. I'm in the early stages of the first stage. But I'm going to work my way up to the dream project. I love fairy tales as well, which is something I haven't talked about much. And I these modern times, everything's very, like, break the fourth wall, winky, winky, sarcastic at the camera, just like DreamWorks smirk. And I can't begin to explain to people who don't care about this, like, what has been lost when we abandoned a sincere fairy tale. Like, there's something so eternal about fairy tales and their themes. Like, and so I'll never forgive Disney for what they did to the Snow Queen, because the Snow Queen is a magnificent fairy tale.
It is.
And Frozen is not the Snow Queen, and now we can never do the Snow Queen because they already did the Frozen movie. And so my dream project is a very particular fairy tale that I've been researching. Frustratingly, there's little about it, like nothing about it. And but that means no one else has heard of it. And so it's a really, really emotional fairy tale with magic, and yet it's very small scale. I also miss stories that are not epic. Like one of my favorite stories is Cinderella, and it is like the most intimate of all the fairy tales and stories that Disney has ever done. There's nothing grand about the story except maybe Mary Blair's design of the castle. But it's also one of the most powerful stories to me because it has there's this truth in it that's so beautiful. That's just Cinderella. The point is, like, no matter what your circumstances are in life, don't let your circumstances change the goodness inside you. And she gets rewarded for that at the end of the movie because she holds on to her sweetness and kindness for creatures weaker than she. That as I could talk about Cinderella forever, and I know I say that about everything, but I miss fairy tales. That's my point.
Right.
So my dream project is this fairy tale that kind of has that thread through eternity that I love so much about fairy tales. And but I'm not good enough for it yet. And I don't have the ending worked out yet because sometimes fairy tales are just freaking weird and don't translate visually very well.
Right.
So like once I work it out in my head, then I want to make it a project where I actually bring in other people who are better than me, who can actually bring it to life in a way that I don't think I ever could. And so that's my dream project. And I'm going to get it done. And I got to stay healthy so I live long enough to do it.
Right. Yes. That's great. That's an amazing thing. And I hope you do. Hang on to that.
Yeah. I want to see that for sure.
Yeah. And I also don't like Frozen.
I don't have a whole episode on why Frozen is just the worst.
Yeah.
And that's when Disney began to just see. Actually, I think Disney started to fall. I call it Disney wanted to eat their princesses and have them too. And it started with Enchanted, where it's a good movie and it's well done, but you can tell they're like starting to make fun of princesses,
right?
And but still want to make money off of princesses. So it's just like, we can make these jokes, but Disney shouldn't be making these jokes because Disney is making the princesses, and that like it kind of like the degradation of their regard for fairy tales in general started, I think, there, because they just wanted to make fun of it, because it's easy to make fun of stuff. It's hard to build something sincerely. And I want to bring some sincerity back.
Good. You should. So I know we could have a whole nother episode just about Disney as a corporation.
So many,
the art versus the corporation. So total tangent, right? So I used to work for the theme park art department, and
I didn't know.
Oh yeah, and I used to be the hugest theme park lover, and you could ask me, how long has it been since I've been to Disney World? I used to go all the time. When I worked for them, I used to go all the time, several times a year. Go. And now I have a timeshare there, and I want to unload it because I don't go. And it's just like going to waste. And I give people the points because I'm like, I'm not using them because I don't want to go. Why? Because of goddamn Avatar World. Why is Avatar World in Disney? And to me, that is the moment when I went, I'm done. You know, I get Marvel's not Disney, Star Wars isn't Disney, but it's Marvel and it's Star Wars, and that's something else. This is freaking blue people.
Blue cat people.
And the first movie, I didn't like it.
I walked out in the middle to take a break because I was like, how much more is there? And it's not a big grief, but it kind of like brings the point home, like, how expensive was this movie, and they're still using papyrus.
Oh yeah, right.
They couldn't develop their own typeface.
Right. That's so funny.
But
my go-to with Avatar is like, yes, it made $1 gajillion, both of them, but you see zero like cosplay of Avatar. Like nobody, like there's no like avid fandom, or very little. I mean, like it's not like
it made money at the box office, but the thing is about traditionally animation doesn't make its money at the box office. They establish franchises that are evergreen, that you will, not make your $1 billion right away, but over 50, 60, 70 years, you're going to sell a lot of Cinderella merch. You're going to sell a lot of home video. And they're not making stuff that's withstanding time anymore. It's very disposable. Like, people watch it and they're done.
So just this week, I read. So my whole thing was that, like, I could hang on to Disneyland because Disneyland was the original, beautiful, most wonderful place. And you can go to Disneyland, the old part, and forget that anything else is out there. You don't have to go over to the California area. You don't have to go to the Star Wars area. You can just exist in what was the original Disneyland, which is the last time I've been to a theme park. I think that was 2 years ago. They're putting an Avatar land in Disneyland.
Oh, really?
Well, you know what? I don't like Avatar, but I will tell you, we went in October for like a mini family reunion, and Avatar Land was the nicest looking part.
Was it?
It really was. It's like the way they did the floating mountains was really incredible.
That's what I hear. I hear it's amazing.
I'm not going to say it blew my mind.
Yeah.
It wasn't magical the way Disney is supposed to be. It was a spectacle. It was entertaining.
Right.
But we also went to Magic Kingdom, and I found a part of it that I'd never seen before. It was the little bronze statue of Cinderella. I'm talking about Cinderella a lot. It sounds like I'm obsessed, but it was a little bronze statue of her sitting down with the mice. And I had a moment there.
Yeah.
I started to well up because it was so beautiful and so intimate and so lovely. And Disney, like Magic Kingdom, has so many small moments like that feel, they just dig deep into your soul and pull out emotion.
Right.
That you don't feel that about Avatar. Like, nobody was like, oh, I'm in the lab where they did the experiment. Oh, I can't believe I'm here. Everyone's just like, oh, that's cool. Click, 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 click. And then they move on. And that's what I did. I don't even like the movies. And I was like, hey, that's cool. Click, 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 move on.
It's like the same thing as like immerse yourself in Van Gogh. And they have those rooms where you walk in and it's like virtual Van Gogh. And there's sunflowers and they're spinning. And Starry Night is spinning. And it's like, that's what it's become. It's kind of like, it's a selfie spot.
Everything, the experience has become like, how's it going to look on my socials, you know? And it's like, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. But you know what? I'm looking forward to what's going to happen with like How to Train Your Dragon Land in Universal. Because the leaks I've seen about that, I'm just like,
yeah.
I follow the Creature Workshop on Facebook. Do you? And
when you saw that remote control dragon, like, did you like go
like the little nightlight? Like the little baby one?
Yeah. Like,
yeah. I'm freaking out. It's like, dragons are
we
real.
can have a whole nother episode talking about good CGI, right? That's a good CGI movie.
I love How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah. I really do. I have my problems with it, but it's that connection between Toothless and Hiccup that's so sincere and so legit that just the rest of the series coasts on that relationship.
It's the Black Stallion with dragons. And I love the Black Stallion. It's the
people that made that one started it.
That's a good
2D,
point. Yeah.
Like built up their chops in 2D.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. And you said like the most striking imagery from How to Train Your Dragon is from that first movie.
Yeah.
And
yep.
Oh gosh. Yep. I know.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's got that Chris Sanders touch of appeal.
Right.
Where it just digs right down in your soul. And I feel like we're going to feel something like that with, what is it called? The Wonderland at Universal. What is it called? Islands of Wonder.
Islands of Wonder or something like that.
Yeah. At the university.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 2 more questions.
Okay.
So where are we at? Okay. We did the what was the last one that we did?
I go on so many tangents. I'm so sorry. I'm going to be very...
It was your dream project.
Well,
it was your dream project.
Dream project, yeah.
My dream project.
Cool. All right.
Talk enough about that.
Okay. Okay. So what inspires you the most? And it doesn't have to be art. It can be anything. Like, what do you feel inspires you the most?
Oh. I don't know. I guess just like my dumb brain, when it thinks something is funny, even if it's stupid, I'm just like, I have to get this. I have to package this somehow so other people can find this as hilarious as me. Or like maybe I'll graduate to other emotions someday. But I guess it's just like a compulsion to get stuff out of my head. Like I find my stupid brain amuses me endlessly. And it's a pity I can't share that with everybody because of how limited my hands are in translating it onto paper. But I guess that's what motivates me the most. It's just like, I've got so many dumb ideas. I want them to bother other people now. Get out of my head and into the world so I can do something else.
Yeah, that's a great answer. It's like you can find the funny in yourself, the way that you're looking at the world and the way that so that's great. Okay, so our final question is, what do you hope people get out of your work? What do you hope the impact is of your work?
Oh my gosh. Oh. That they tolerate me? I don't know. I really don't know. Sometimes I'm surprised at what people connect with. Sometimes, like whenever I'm sick, I always like to draw myself sick and post like as a apology for not drawing as much. It's just like, this is what I look like when I'm sick. And I want to draw it funny and I want people to laugh, but everyone's just like, oh, I hope you're okay. Don't be nice to me. Laugh.
Right.
Like I want them to laugh. And I want, I don't know. I just want people to kind of, I guess, cartoons were so important to me growing up. They made me so happy to just have this window into a world where everything was light and, gravity didn't matter. And you could, have a jitterbug dance whenever you felt like it. But I kind of want people to have that lightness in them if they see my work, just because the world is such a heavy place. And I don't think it has to be. I think it's a decision that we make. And I want to contribute to like the lightening of the world, like not to diminish, negative emotions, because I also think those are important. And negative emotions fuel a lot of humor too. And yeah, I actually never really thought of that before, Kelly. So that's the best answer I have.
I think that's an awesome answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we don't usually think about that either. We don't really think about it. That's kind of like why I like it to be the final question, is it forces whoever I'm talking to kind of think about that for a minute.
Well, you put me on the spot, so I'm going to turn it around on both of you.
Go ahead, Chris. We can use this too, so go.
Same question?
Yeah.
I'm of a similar mind where, like, I think when I was younger, I wanted to make serious art and, like, real art. But I came to appreciate the fact that making people laugh is real and as important or more so than making a deep, serious piece of, dark art or whatever, like you think is cool as a teenager. But giving somebody a moment of levity, I think, is a beautiful thing and something that I aspire to and have grown to appreciate more and more.
Make up laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, is it my turn?
Yeah.
I would say, I wish I was funnier. I wish that when I sat down to write and draw, that humor was, to me, it's the greatest thing in the world to be funny. I think you have to be super smart to be funny, to be really funny. I think comedians, especially like stand-up comedians, sometimes are the most interesting, fascinating, smartest people. I loved comedians in cars getting coffee. Like, I was obsessed with that.
That was a good show.
I seem to top off as amusing and charming when it comes to like my work. But I've learned to appreciate that a little bit and to kind of own that I have a little bit more warmth, I think, in the things that I make than I do like, ha ha ha, slap on me. It's not. I wish it was. So I think what I like is I like to find like moments where you notice like the little things and you can turn that into a story. I like to have people see themselves a little bit in the things that I make, whether it is slightly funny, but mostly charming. Like, it's okay. Or it's, oh yeah, that happened to me once. Or yeah, okay. It's my goal as an artist, as I keep going, to try to be a little bit broader and not care as much about staying in the lane that I'm in. But I still think, like, every time I sit down, I'm like, okay, I got a story idea. I'm gonna write it down. Somehow they start big, but they always wind up becoming these like little small moments. So I guess I want people to notice magical small moments in life. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember something about C.S. Lewis said the whole Narnia series was generated because he had an image, like a charming image of a satyr with a red scarf at a lamppost. And he was like, I'll make a story about that.
Wow.
But it's just like you said, like a moment, something that and charming is I love the word charming because it is part of magic. It is part of connection. And your work is so charming because it does make you stop.
Yes.
Yeah. It makes you stop.
Right.
And
I appreciate that. Yeah. And I will say, like, literally, I have been fortunate enough to get a lot of feedback at certain times in my life. Literally, charming is what I always hear. I always hear, like, and I'll take it. Like, I will take it.
It's a good one. I get old.
Yeah. Do you? You get old, really? The sensibility. Right.
It's fresh in my mind because of the convention. Like, all these young kids are like, wow, you draw old.
I don't know.
You said even as a kid or pretty young, you were into like the 40s kind of aesthetic or 50s kind of. So old is cool.
Yeah. It's coming back. I mean, it's vintage, retro.
Right. Yeah, I did a thing in my drawing for anime or my character design class. I do, like, every Wednesday I spotlight some kind of aesthetic in along the lines of designing and cartoons and characters. And so I did I said it's Cartoon Core Week because I had done so many other things. I'd done anime, and I was like, now it's all about me. And it was a barrage of, like, every Saturday morning cartoon ever, like the Hanna-Barbera. And it was like every TV cartoon ever made. And I was just like, just look at it all. And I was like, that's it. Cartoon Core. So yeah. But I get that drawing old thing because I realized that the minute that Adventure Time came out, I was like, I'm old. Visually, I don't understand. My kid loves it, but I'm like, what are you watching? I don't know.
Well, Adventure Time started out kind of charming, and then it got really weird. Like, really weird, to the point where, like, I know they had some reboots and everything, and I'm just like, it can live over there.
Yeah.
But like to that point, how enduring is the new hip stuff?
I think it will surprise us. I think there will be some of it that will endure. And I think that that's part of the continuum, part of the staring at the faces of 19-year-olds now for 13 hours a day.
13 hours a day? What kind of
days a week? 2 days a week, 13 hours a day.
Oh, man.
I think it's a fascinating thing to be in this, like, continuum and seeing things progress in the way. I really, really think they're different humans. Therefore, what they're making is vastly different because these kids have grown up plugged into 18,000 different things at once, and their brains function differently, and their storytelling is very different, and the way that they see things visually is very different. Some stuff is amazing. Yeah, it's kind of nuts. So I think, I think it's kind of cool I think some of the stuff will endure, just like, right? I'm sure that when Jay Ward came out, people like, what is this schlock? What is that? But look, like, now I can't get enough of, watching. And that's, I think, also part of it too, is as we get older, we all get nostalgic for, oh God. So,
I know. I still think there's something more than just nostalgia. I think there's something, like, the original Looney Tunes are never going to go away. Like, people will be watching them forever.
Knock on wood.
Not so much the new Looney Tunes.
I don't watch.
Well, yeah, right.
I don't watch the new Looney Tunes.
I
keep one ear to the ground and go, what are they doing? Like, I don't really. Ever since they did the one that was like a reality show, that was it. I'm like, I'm out.
No, the Looney Tunes show that was more of Seinfeld Looney Tunes, hated it at first. Hated it.
I can't.
Then I watched a couple episodes, and they did it really, really well.
Really?
And it was actually very legitimately funny. I developed a headcanon so I could justify my enjoyment of it, because I'm like, this isn't the real Looney Tunes characters.
Right.
This is something else.
I was the same when I did it with the Muppets. I couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't do it.
That was was mean.
Get it?
That Muppet show they did where Kermit and Miss Piggy broke up. I was like, why?
That's good. Did you watch that, Chris? Did you watch that Muppet? No, yeah.
It was just, it was such a shame. It's like, what a weird decision. Like, what?
Yeah.
And just create this darkness in something that was so charming.
Yeah.
Why ruin that? Why? And it didn't quite take off.
No. There's a new Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth blew up.
I think it looks promising.
Animation.
Yeah, looks amazing.
I follow some of those animators, and I've seen some pencil tests. And not only are they address the one thing that I always complain about whenever they redo Looney Tunes. I'm like, where's the big band orchestra? Because you can't have Looney Tunes without big brassy big band. And they have it. And they use Raymond Scott's Powerhouse. And they just have a lot in there that looks so good. And I'm just like, please just low-key the Spumco influence. Just like, I can't stand how Spumco is just Warner Brothers now. I just can't stand it. Because I know John Kay was influenced by Bob Clampett, blah, 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 but it's just too gross. And gross out humor is not Looney Tunes. So that's my one fear, that the Day the Earth Blew Up will have some gross out humor that just does not belong there, and that takes me out of Looney Tunes. But otherwise, I'm looking forward to that one. I don't look forward to anything, but I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic.
It's in theaters like very briefly, isn't it? Like comes out this month, is it?
Oh my gosh, have I lost track of it? I'm sorry, I have to look this up.
I think I looked it up, and I think I said like, oh, it's like I got to make sure that I'm in a theater either at the end of this month.
Oh my gosh, it's out now.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So, well, yeah.
I gotta go.
Regionally, yeah. Yeah, no. Regionally, you have to check because it's going to have a very limited run.
Oh.
So, yeah, we have to go.
I was planning on going to see it too. I was like, I'm gonna go and see this one because I've avoided all the other ones they've done, all the other reboots. So,
it says the release date is March 14th. And it's already made $1.9 million. It's not even released yet. That's
all right.
Good.
Yeah. And so I think like it's a good place to kind of like sum up our talk is about Looney Tunes. And to say that there are things like really in my mind, and I am a big Disney nut, but over the years, Warner Brothers has those are the cartoons of my heart are the Looney Tunes cartoons. It's those things that are just, it's almost like a you can't repeat magic sometimes. You can learn from it, you can study it, you can watch it. I think, Joanna, you're a person who keeps a lot of it alive. Lot of like those magical moments and a lot of those elements. When someone says that you draw old, it's actually a really weird way to give you a really high, wonderful compliment because, there is a magic there in that way of seeing and that way of drawing. Funny.
I hope so. I choose to take it as a compliment for sure.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I had like the opposite trajectory as you. I was Warner Brothers girl through and through. And then over the years, Disney was like, I was trying to deny my love of Disney because I thought I had to pick teams as a kid.
You don't.
Yeah. And then I learned I don't. And so I was able to openly embrace my love of Disney as well. But I still, if I had to pick teams, not that I have to, but if I did, it would be Warner Brothers because there's just something about the chaotic energy, the chaotic good of Bugs Bunny and Chuck Jones, he's my favorite director, which is maybe why I don't like Spumco at all. That's just, I don't know. Maybe can we do more podcasts where we talk about?
Well, I know because the three of us are huge. We all three of us
need more. Yeah.
reading a Warner
all
Brothers episode, Disney
huge
episode.
Chuck Jones fans, right? So to just say, like, if there's a number one artist for me, it's Chuck Jones. It's
I agree.
one of Chris's biggest loves too. Like somebody who, I always say, somebody who could really just distill a personality, his singular personality into a drawing. It's just remarkable.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Personality.
Yeah, you see his sketches, and he could write. Like, he could tell a story verbally, and entertainingly.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, one of the most important books of my childhood was Chuck Amuck.
Yeah.
I read that so many times.
Yes.
Yep.
It was like a dream come true to have a window into that world,
right,
and to learn more about the people who populated his unit, like Ben Washam and Virgins and Maurice Noble, and just all the people who worked together to create what we think of as the Chuck Jones brand. And I think what he and his team were able to achieve is just unparalleled. Just the amount, like, people are like, oh, he's so cutesy, but it's like, no, he's just like putting like a dagger into your heart. It's like he's just like mainlining you this feeling that's just like when Mark Antony thinks that Pussyfoot is being baked into cookies, like you want to die a little bit. You feel it. And the humor comes from his ability to communicate these very human emotions. Yep. And so I think I agree. I'm in the Chuck Jones club with you guys.
Yeah. And have you ever seen these?
You did a lot of work with the Chuck Jones gallery, right?
What? Well, I want to go back. Like I have a relationship with the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity, but this is something that I discovered last year. And it became an obsession. This is a box full of all things, square dancing magazines. Square dancing magazine. So what a lot of people don't know, and there was actually a cartoon, Cartoon Brew. There is one blog post about this, which I found out after I found out about these. So Chuck Jones was a square dancing enthusiast. That was his hobby. And there is a newsletter from his small niche interest. And he illustrates these. I don't know how many I have. Maybe 60.
Where did you get them?
I became obsessed on eBay. Yeah. And I found one recently. I found, here's the St. Louis one. Right?
Oh, cool.
So this is the one. Yeah, that's where Chris lives. He lives in St. Louis.
I look like a crazy person because I'm trying to get an angle on these books.
Right.
But like he doesn't do every cover, but he has covers and insides. So what it is it's meet Chuck Jones drawing for fun. Also drawing in ink, which he hardly ever did, like actually doing comics and cartoon drawings. But some of the covers are just so, like, look at this cover. Look at that. Drawing a Bugs Bunny. Yeah. So, but then,
back in the day before people were too caught up about copyright.
Look at him drawing that. Like, you don't usually see him draw like this,
No.
So yeah, this has become like a thing for me.
When did he do these? Was it in the 50s?
I have his whole run. So it's I think it's like 1950 to like 1963.
Wow.
Yeah. It wasn't the whole, like, the magazine. I have a few where before he started and I have a few after he left, and I had to figure that out. So I didn't keep buying ones that didn't have his art. Yeah, but it's this whole thing. And to me, it's just like further proof of the existence of people who can't not draw. Meaning that, it's not just a job. It's not, just something that you do for money. It's, do I love something? Yes. I love to draw. Do I love doing something? Yes. I love square dance. I'm going to draw a square. Like, he didn't get paid. He did this for free.
I can't believe there's so much I have left to learn about Chuck Jones.
Oh, there's so much. There's so much to know about Chuck Jones. Yeah, it's so good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And I had these out because I was looking.
Is that why later in life he sort of started dressing like Mark Twain?
That is part of it.
Is that part of it?
He was from Southern California. He was not Southern, but he kind of did the Colonel Sanders thing. Like, yeah. When I met him, he was dressed like Colonel Sanders. And I was like,
did you ever tell me that you met him?
I don't.
Why isn't that in my brain?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I met him when I was working in merchandise, and I was hired to create merchandise for the Warner Brothers store when they opened, which was in the 90s.
Yeah.
And he was coming to the store because they were launching, at that time, like, I don't know if you remember, like, probably in the 90s, like, it's when, like, the collecting of animation art all of a sudden got really big, and everybody was opening stores, and there were all this, like, were you getting a real cell, or were you getting one of those serigraph things? And it was a whole thing. And in New York, you could look on every corner, and there would be an animation art gallery. So Warner Brothers launched their own gallery in the stores.
I remember.
Yeah. And so I was working in Manhattan, and that was their flagship store. The Manhattan
the 3-story one?
Yeah, the giant one. And so he was coming for the official opening of the gallery. And so I'm sitting in the art department, and someone says, "Hey, I have an extra ticket tonight's thing." Because I was like not, a head honcho. I was just some, 24-year-old kid. And I was like, "Oh, take it." And then I stood in a room. It was like a cocktail reception, and I stood in the room in the corner, just staring across, like I wanted to talk to him. I could not be in the same room with him and not talk to him. And really, the way they ran it, the only way you could really talk to him is if you, like, dropped a bunch of change to buy one of his cells. And I didn't have the money, to buy one of his cells. So I waited until the very, very end. And I just very quietly went over to him and just was like, "Hey, Mr. Jones." And I did the thing where, like, I was so nervous that I started to cry. Like, I started to get, like, teary. And he pulled a chair over, and he pulled another chair over against the wall. He sat down, he took my hand, he kissed my hand, which is the first and last time I have ever had my hand kissed. And even though he was, like, I don't know how old, I was just like, oh my God, like, he kissed my hand. He held my hand the whole time we spoke. We spoke for maybe like a half hour, but it was like nobody else existed. And he made it like that. Like, he made it like there was no one else in the room for that amount of time. And I said things to him like, "I draw because of you." Like I actually said it, like, "I draw because of you." I was trying to get words out. Yeah. And then I was like, and he's like, "Well, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I make the stuff. I draw your characters." And I was like, "My job is that I draw the characters. And I draw Bugs Bunny." And he actually looked at me and he said, "Well, what do you want to draw? What do you want to do?" And that was the moment I was like, this is like meeting the Pope. Like, he didn't just like go like, "Oh, that's really nice. That's great. Okay, bye." And he was like, "Yeah, but what do you want to do?" Like, he got it. Like, this is not where you want to be. You don't want to be working in an art department at a store. Like, what do you want to do? And I didn't really have an answer for him. He's like, "Oh, that's what you have to figure out." And that was it, and he was just so lovely.
That is like what you hope.
Yeah.
Like, meeting your hero will be like.
I've heard since then that he was like that. Like, he used to just show up in schools that had animation classes. Like, he would show up, some of the people I know who teach at NYU, like, he would just walk in some days. He'd walk into the animation classes, like, if he knew, like, John Canemaker taught there. I don't know if he does anymore, probably not. So he would just walk in and he'd be like, "I'm going to sit down in the class." And he would just sit there and he would just tell, he was never officially a teacher in his older years, but he would just visit. He would just visit schools and talk to young artists. So that's pretty much why the whole creativity, the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity is is there. It's there because they knew how much it meant to him to inspire other people, not just to draw cartoons, but to live a creative life. So, yeah, so it's pretty cool, and his family's pretty cool.
Oh,
that they keep it alive.
That warms my heart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty great. In fact, they have the Red Dot auction coming up, and I always do a piece every year. And this year, I don't think I'm doing it this year. The first year in like a decade, I think, that I haven't done a piece. I'm a little like, ugh. Unless I can get it done really fast.
Well, you could do like your own square dancing magazine cover.
There you go. Do an homage to that. Yeah.
It's a really good idea. Yeah. Did I show you? I have a couple of them. Yeah. So anyway, I don't want to take up the rest of your evening. I know it's getting late. So, but this has been awesome.
It really has. It's so much fun to talk and catch up, find out more about. I can't believe. I know if you had told me that Chuck Jones story before, it should be in my brain. So it is locked and filed in my brain now. And I'm so happy. And thank you for inviting me to chat with both of you. I love cartoons, love cool. You know what? Like we could segment out each like little subject and do like another 5-hour podcast on each little subject.
Totally.
So in case you need more content.
Right. Yeah,
I'm
for sure.
For you.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
go ahead, Chris.
Thank you so much for joining us. I do want to ask, is there anything that you're working on currently or that you want to talk about or that you have coming up that you want to talk about? And also, where can we find you online?
Oh, yes. What I have currently, I'm trying to get some of my own projects off the ground. And finally, like, this is the year. No more excuses. Get it out into the world. And there's one project called Smorgasborchestra, which I'm excited about because it's a series I've been working on with a brilliant musician called David Ricard. He's not called that. That's his name. And he created albums of awesome jazz orchestrations of classical favorites. And we've been like making a series of cartoons based on that. And the first one is up, and it's like music education, appreciation, and it's all mid-century UPA style. We didn't even get around to talking about UPA and how much I would.
That could be a whole episode just itself.
Yes. And so that's one thing I'm working on. I'm doing live streams, and you can find me on Instagram as Joe the Zet, on YouTube as Joanna Davidovich. And my personal website is cupofjoe.net, cupojo.net. And like I'm all over, like collect platforms and like they're candy because I never know which one's going to be good. So like if there's a platform you like, just search Joe the Zet or Joanna Davidovich and I'm on there probably, maybe.
Awesome.
Yeah. But thank you guys again. This was so much fun.
Thank you. It was awesome to see you. And yeah, and I hope we talk sooner than later.
I want to like also have like a personal catch up session as well.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds like a plan.